Well, I just think with both films and books, I'm saying to the people writing the scripts or the novels, I'm saying you're not writing, you're reciting, because the moral things clearly, they're just going with the flow. They're not thinking for themselves. But what do you think, Danica? I mean, some people say, oh, those tweets, they're pretty inflammatory.
Oh, well, I don't think they're inflammatory at all, Andrew. I mean, this woman was simply saying, I don't want to stock books that are going to cause harm to Australians that would make people hate each other. I mean, what a concept. Who would have thought that would actually be the case? And as usual, this is yet another example of the cancel culture. You've now got other authors. You've also got other bookshops coming out and they're saying boycott the store. They were looking to run her out of business and they're not going to stop. And then right on cue, she's been forced to apologise. But look, in the end, these diverse books don't sell because they stifle thought. They don't make you think about the wide world that we live in. And I think that Caroline Overington in The Australian, the literary editor in The Australian, she put it quite well. She said that to a mainstream audience, diverse books don't actually sell and that Australian fiction is dominated by women. And that is not controversial, Andrew. It's a fact.
Well, I thought it really said something that one of the stories hoeing into this poor woman was, some disability advocate or something, or appearance activist was saying, oh, look, I had no idea she thought like this, but, she's actually been quite good to me personally, despite my handicap. She's actually been very helpful to me. But, how could, I mean, seriously, judge people what they do, right? Not by a tweet. But no fight back at all from the hard left Yarra Council in Melbourne. It's considering an official recommendation to remove and scrap a Captain Cook memorial, one of a couple knocked down and vandalised on Australia Day. In fact, this one's already been dragged away. The ruins have been dragged away. One councillor says, the locals would rather have their rates go to services, not statue repairs. Let's not bother putting it up again. Should this statue be repaired, Will Kingston, when almost every Australia Day seems to get vandalised?
Of course it should be repaired and put back in place, Andrew, but the sad reality is the local councillor is probably right. The majority of the people in that local council area probably don't want to see that statue go back up. But here's the thing. Statues, war memorials, they're not for the benefit of those local council areas. They are part of the cultural fabric of the nation, which is why I think we need to take the responsibility for protecting these statues, war memorials, away from local councils, because they will fall into decay. They won't be protected by particular activist councillors. And we need to put it in the hands of some sort of apolitical federal authority that is more concerned about protecting and conserving Australian history.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, if we're going to defend the culture and its heroes, you have to defend them with all the passion that the haters do. Otherwise, the vandals win. What do you make of all this, Danica?
Well, I just think congratulations to the council for actually giving in to those haters, giving in to the culture wars which are dividing our nation. I would say that if this was, for example, a statue of an Indigenous person which had been vandalised, attacked with an angle grinder, which we saw on another statue at the weekend, cut off at the ankles, would they be calling a council meeting about this? No, I don't even think it would have not even made the minutes of the council meeting. And look, this is the problem right now that we are facing in Australia. It is a real divide, people looking to spread their divide in our country. And I would actually say that more needs to be done to protect it.
Well, if the front line of that movement against Australia Day is led by vandals, and graffiti writers, then I think they have to be resisted immediately on a matter of principle. Says something about the other side. But just sticking with you for a second, Danica, this is weird. Channel 9 has had to apologise to a Victorian MP, Georgie Purcell, after doctoring this picture of her to give her bigger breasts, plus also a bared stomach. I mean, this is just quite extraordinary. Channel 9 is now blaming a software error. This image is what it screened on Monday. Are you buying this excuse?
I'm not buying this excuse, Andrew, and I must preface by saying I've got no idea about technology, about how they use AI, but when I first heard what Channel 9's response was, I was quite shocked. Adobe actually came out this afternoon with their own statement, and they said that the use of its AI features would have required human intervention. So, in other words, they're saying that this was no accident. Look, I don't agree with this woman's politics at all, but I really don't like the physical altercation of a person's body in any publication, but let alone she's also an elected member of Parliament, and I think it is very disrespectful to do so.
Absolutely. I just will end on a good note, a more successful fight back against all this. But a moral dilemma for us maybe. The Sydney Theatre Company has now lost an estimated $1.5 million in ticket sales and donations since some of its actors staged a pro-Palestinian protest in Palestinian scarves at the end of a Chekhov play. So they actually smashed any, fourth wall. But is that actually the cancel culture we criticise?
Another Alan Joyce success story. No, it isn't, Andrew. And this specious argument comes up from the left from time to time, and it bugs me. There is a big difference between stopping someone from doing something like their job and just not paying money to support someone or something. This is the latter. People are well and truly within their rights to not pay money to activists. And I come back to what we were saying at the start. Tell better stories, Sydney Theatre Company, and stop this moral virtue signalling nonsense, and people might start coming back to the theatre.
Yes, I think there's a big difference between stopping yourself from supporting someone and trying to stop others from doing it. I think there's a big difference there. Will Kingston, Danica DiGiorgio, thank you so much to you both. And Danica, all the best for Sunday. Good on you.